Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I have got 3 super easy and delicious copycat restaurant recipes. I'm so excited to share them with you guys today. Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do a copycat recipe for Panera Mac and Cheese. I'm so excited. A few people commented this in the last copycat recipe video, which I'll have that link down below, and they asked for me to do this recipe. So I'm so excited. I found what they say is the best copycat version. So we're going to give it a try and see. You need, of course, some salt and pepper. It does call for shells, but I do not have any on hand, which I thought I did. So we're going to use these corkscrews. You also need some flour and butter to make your roux. And then it says to use powdered mustard. I don't have any, but it says you can substitute out for Dijon. So that's what we're going to use. And then milk, some heavy cream. And then of course it calls for just Vermont cheddar. I could not find just Vermont cheddar. Or the Cracker Barrel Vermont cheddar was like over $5, and I was not going to pay that. So I just got this aged cheddar blend, which has Vermont, Wisconsin, and New York style cheddar. So I think it's going to work. So it might be a little different, but you just, you know, hopefully y'all can find the right cheese blend that it calls for in the recipe. But don't forget, I will have this recipe linked down below for you guys, but let's get to cooking. We're going to start off by melting our butter, and then we will add our flour in to make our roux. And then I'm just going to get my pasta going in some nice salty boiling water. Now that your butter is melted, we're going to add in our flour. A roux is equal parts fat to flour. You're just going to add that in, keep it moving, and you're going to cook out that flour for a couple minutes. That way your sauce doesn't have a like powdery flour taste. Now that you have let the flour cook out for a couple minutes, you're going to go ahead and add in your heavy cream and your milk and just whisk that together. Now we're going to add in our Dijon mustard and our salt and pepper. I've got this on about medium, and I'm just going to continue to stir it. It's going to slowly start thickening up. You don't want to do it too quick on too high a temperature because it can scorch the bottom and it will curdle your cheese sauce. Once it starts thickening up, you're going to go ahead and add in your cheese, mix that together, and that will all melt in. And then you're going to let that just thicken up to the consistency that you would like. And I will be sharing a little trick with you guys on how to know if the flour is cooked out. So here is my little trick. If you take a spoon and dip it in the cheese sauce, take and run your finger on it. As you see there, if there's any white residue that is on where you put your finger through it, then that means you just need to let it cook a little bit longer. There's still some raw flour. But if it does come off clean, then you know you have cooked that flour out. And then we are just going to go ahead and add in our noodles and get everything mixed together. Here's what it looks like when it was all done. This was so good. Everybody really enjoyed it. So yes, mine was a little bit different because I added in that blend instead of just the Vermont cheddar like the recipe calls for, but this was so good and we'll definitely be making it again. One of my favorite things to get at Texas Roadhouse, besides a loaded sweet potato, is their seasoned rice. It is so good, so flavorful. So I have found a copycat recipe for that, and I am super stoked about it, and I'm just so excited. So let's give it a try and see how comparable it is. You need either chicken broth or water and chicken bouillon, which y'all know I always keep this on hand. You also need some long grain of white rice. You need some onion, parsley, garlic powder, onion powder, ground paprika. It also calls for cayenne pepper, I'm not gonna do that, so that way Winston will eat it. Salt, pepper, soy sauce, and some butter. So let's put this together, and like I said, I'm so excited. So I ended up doing mine backwards. The recipe said to toast the rice first, then add in the onion, and I accidentally added in the onion and then added in the rice. But overall cook of it turned out perfect, and I don't think it really makes a difference, to be honest. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook up my onion and some butter, and then we will add in our rice. Now that we've added in our rice, we're just gonna keep it moving and give it a little bit of color. Now we're going to add in our water and bouillon or broth, just whatever you use or keep on hand. It is super easy to keep that bouillon powder on hand. I have it in different flavors, and it's super easy just to be able to add water and whatever broth you need for a recipe. Now we're going to add in our soy sauce, our garlic powder, paprika, onion powder, some salt and pepper. Give it a stir to mix everything together. Bring it to a boil, reduce the heat to about medium-low, and then you're going to put the lid on it and let it cook for 15 to 20 minutes. Here's what it looks like when it was all done. I also added in some parsley. You're supposed to add this in with the other seasonings before you cook the rice, but I forgot. While Luke is finishing up the rest of dinner, I'm gonna try this rice with you guys. It smells amazing. I absolutely love the seasoned rice from Texas Roadhouse, so I'm excited about this. It smells so good. Oh my gosh, y'all. This is so good. I do have to say that it ended up making a ton. So next time I will just half that recipe, but I will have the recipe linked down below for you guys. It is, y'all have to try it. It's so good. We're gonna do a copycat recipe for Chili's queso. I have not been to Chili's, the restaurant, in so long. We had went before when we lived in Lexington. I really don't think there's one close to us, honestly, but we're gonna try out this recipe now. I'm gonna go ahead and do a disclaimer. I'm using what I have around the house, so mine is technically gonna taste a little different, but I will have the recipe that I'm roughly following linked down below for you guys. The recipe calls for regular Velveeta, but I have this queso blanco Velveeta with jalapenos, and I'm gonna be honest, y'all, this is super, super spicy. If you buy the Walmart brand, it's not that spicy, but this Kroger brand is super spicy. So I'm gonna use the rest of this up. So we're gonna use this, and then of course it calls for chili with no beans. It calls for some lime juice, and then it did call for a couple extra spices, but since this is jalapenos and already hot, I'm not gonna add the spicy seasonings in there, but I am gonna use some paprika, some chili powder, and some cumin, and then it also calls for some milk. So I am gonna do this in the crock pot. You can do it on the stove top, just dump everything in and slowly let it cook down and marry together. But I'm gonna do it in the crock pot because it's easier for me that way. This is one of these perfect dump and go quesos. So you're literally just gonna add all the ingredients in your crock pot. You're gonna add in your Velveeta, your milk, your can of chili, your seasonings, and your lime juice. Put everything in there, give it a mix. You're gonna cook it on low for about 2 to 3 hours. I did stir mine since I was home, just to make sure that it didn't burn, but this was so good, and I feel like this would be really good for like if you had like a football party, game day, any kind of like cookout or whatever. This was really, really flavorful. here's what it looks like when it's all done. We just served it with some chips. I'm excited to try this again and do it with regular Velveeta. Doing it with the queso blanco, it made it super spicy. I don't know what it is about that Kroger brand. I had talked about that before. The Kroger brand queso blanco is super spicy, so I was glad that I was able to use that up, but it did give it really good flavor. So if you like heat, then I would recommend using the queso blanco, but for kiddo wise, I'm excited to try it with just the regular Velveeta. And that's it, guys. That wraps up today's video. I really hope you enjoyed these 3 super easy and delicious copycat restaurant recipes. If you have any ideas of what you want me to make next, let me know in the comments down below. But I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.